trees. We have done it in the past, but not for quite a long while. Leo, it might be new to you, but it's fine. It's absolutely fine. So we're just going to go straight in. I'll take my time doing one example, and then I will leave you to get on with the worksheet. So this is a classic question, okay, involving a probability tree. So let's just read what we're told. Simon plays one game of tennis and one game of snooker. And then we're told the probability of that Simon wins at tennis is 3/4. The probability he wins at snooker is 1/3. So let me just remind you how these work. There's the tennis. It says the tennis at the top. So this first half of the probability tree is all about tennis. And we saw in the question that it told us that the probability that he won was 3/4. Now, we wouldn't necessarily always be given all the probabilities in the tree. So the first learning point is to remember that the two branches of a probability tree, two branches of a probability tree, they've always got to add up to a whole. All right, they've always got to add up to 1, okay, because they are the entirety of what could happen. He either wins or he doesn't win. So it is not surprising that 3/4 and 1/4 are there, because they add up to a whole. So that bit in green is all about the game of tennis. We then move on to the second half of the diagram, and that's all about the snooker. Now, we were told in the question the probability that he wins is 1/3. So therefore, that does not win was always going to be 2/3, because again, those two branches have to add up to a whole. Now, what's going on at the bottom on the right-hand side? That bit there, I'm just going to highlight that in a different colour. That bit that I'm just highlighting in dark green, that is a complete repeat, an identical repeat of that top bit in blue. It is just the same situation. All right, you can't see the blue bit yet. That circle will come through in a second. So that circle bit in green is a repeat of the bit above it. Okay, the snooker winning is still 1/3, and the snooker losing is still 2/3. So why is it repeated? Well, the reason it's repeated is that the one in blue is the snooker if Simon wins at tennis, and the one in dark green is the snooker if Simon doesn't win at tennis. And it has no effect on the snooker. That's why it's just repeated. So that's just reminding you about how these probability trees work. And let's go and answer the question now. So the question says, I've just covered up what the question says, haven't I, with that little thing. Let's move that out of the way. Work out the probability that Simon will win only one game. So let's just remind ourselves how we read these probability graphs. Imagine you're just going along these paths. So you're looking down from above and they are roads. That journey that I've just done there in purple, that is Simon winning at tennis and then winning at snooker. Okay, winning and winning. With the paths we've gone along, we're winning and winning. So that's a good day for Simon. However, the path at the bottom is him losing and losing. Now, this question isn't asking about either of those. This question is asking for the probability that Simon will win exactly one game, so only one game. Now, how can he win exactly one game? He either wins and then he loses, that one in red, that's one way of winning exactly one game. Or alternatively, what should we do it? Let's do it in blue. He loses and then wins, loses, then wins. So to win only one game is these two in the middle that we are interested in, because they are winning only one game. So we've got to work out those two probabilities there. Now let's start off with the red option. How did we get to that red point? How does Simon end up where I'm just about to put a red dot? How does Simon end up there? He won and then he lost. Okay, so what two probabilities have we passed on that journey? The 3/4 and the 2/3. Now, the next bit you're going to have to learn and remember. We're talking about Simon winning at tennis and then losing at snooker. Now, whenever it is an and, whenever you say this sentence and you get an and, that is when you've got to multiply the fractions together. And how do we multiply fractions? It's top times top, bottom times bottom. 3 2s are 6, 4 3s are 12. So that's the probability that he wins and then he loses. So that's one way he can win only one game. The other way he can win only one game is when he loses and then he wins. Okay, so the two that I've just circled in blue, so that was 1/4 and 1/3. Now again, that is him losing and then winning. So again, we are going to multiply those fractions together. 1 times 1 is 1, 4 3s are 12. So what have I got at this point? I've got two fractions. I've got the 6/12 and I've got the 1/12. Now, both of those are alternative ways where he wins only one game. Now, I don't mind whether it's the first option or the second option, okay? Now, when it's an or, that is when you add the probabilities together. So we're going to add these two together because it is an or. Now, remember to add fractions together. First of all, you need to have a common denominator. You need to have the same number on the bottom. Now, with these probabilities, you will always, probability trees, you will have the same number on the bottom, provided you don't go and start simplifying as you're doing the bit on the right. So that's a good reason not to simplify that 6/12 to a half. Okay, so keep them unsimplified. So I do have that common denominator of 12. So I simply just have to add my numerators, add the top numbers. 6 add 1 is 7, and that's my final answer. Okay, the probability that he wins only one game is 7/12. So I've done you a whole bunch of questions on these. This is the first one, so that guarantees you get the first one right. If the question is given to you in fractions, you carry on working in fractions and give your final answer in fractions. However, if the question is decimals, carry on working in decimals and give your final answer in decimals. So good luck with those, guys. I will leave this one on the board to start with, just so you can refer to it as you get going. And in about 10 minutes, I will share my screen with what you're working on so I can help you on specific questions.